Good evening, sim racing fans, and welcome to LSRTV's coverage of the Friday night doubleheader for the iSuperspeedway.com racing series. First up tonight, though, is iROC race number 2 of this, or excuse me, race number 1 of the season, right here live tonight at Daytona Motor Speedway, circa 2007. I'm Andy Kessler. Joining me tonight in the booth will be Cisco Scaramuza and Laura Lawson. Our executive producer will be getting that picture that you see to you. First off, Cisco, we're here tonight for iROC Race of Champions, race number 1. What an interesting track we're going to tonight with the circa 2007 Daytona. Lots of bumps, lots of old pavement. Cars are going to be all over the place for this one.
Yeah, you like to say, these older tracks, they have character. Well, this track has a ton of it. We're going to be seeing cars jumping up and down. This isn't like 2011 where, it's freshly repaved, nice and smooth. No, we're going to be seeing these cars bouncing around, jumping up and down, maybe bouncing even from one lane to the next. So it should be interesting to see these guys try and hold on to these cars. I think it's going to make for some exciting racing tonight.
It will. Last week we saw the, I would guess you'd call them the Gen 6 Cup cars on this track in a double feature last week, a B and an A main, and the cars were all over the place. It seemed like it was hard for these guys to keep the cars in line. A lot of wiggling, a lot of bouncing around. We saw a couple incidents happen, couple wrecks that because of that. So it's going to be interesting to see here tonight. Obviously, the car count a little bit smaller than normal because this is for the Race of Champions. 12 guys were qualified to set to race into this race here tonight. I do want to update myself here and do correct myself. This is race number 2 of 4. We do have Seth the Merchant, who won the first race a few weeks back here, so he holds the points lead right now. But points lead, it's very slim, as they say. One little mistake can cost you a few spots right now, seeing that everybody's basically separated by 1 point.
Yeah, basically, your winner got 12 points, 11, 10, and back through the rest of the iROC grid. So, one spot is one position. There's no bonus points. But it should be interesting here to see, this is the older car, so these guys aren't used to driving that every week. So it should be interesting here to see these cars have a little bit different handling characteristic as to what they're used to. So I'm excited to see what these cars can do, because it's been a while for me to actually see these cars out in action.
And they do look nice with their iROC paint schemes, all similar except for the color. The numbers that these guys are running aren't the numbers you'll see them in later tonight for the main event in the iSuperspeedway.com race. They will be racing the Gen 6 cars, so they'll have their normal paints and numbers. So tonight is 12 cars, all numbered 2 through 12. So all these guys having different numbers than normal. They all look the same except for the colors, and we should be. I can't wait. I love these races. I love the championship races like these, where you put the best of your series from the past season, winners, champions. You put them in here and let them duke it out to try to get this thing done, and it makes for an awesome show. And these guys, to begin with, already are the best of the best when it comes to super speedway racing. They do it every single week here at iSuperspeedway.com. So these are fans, if you want to say, and really good drivers of the super speedways.
Yeah, absolutely. As we're gonna take I'm taking a look at the practice board right now. I don't know if we can get that up or not, but right now at the top of the board is going to be Rod Flagg. He's got the fastest time right now in practice, kind of the 40-minute warm-up session they have here. He with a 45.096. He's got about half a tenth on the rest of these guys. So, it is, the plate racing, but there is some finesse to this. There is some driving skill that can be involved, especially in plate racing. So I'll be interested to see, and be watching out for Seth the Merchant, who took home the win last week at Daytona, or last race, I should say, at Daytona. But also who led the most laps was Rodney Wolford. So a lot of great names, and obviously these guys drive on the plate tracks all the time. So basically anyone here is in with a shout to win this thing.
Yeah, week in and week out, we see a bunch of different leaders, lead changes, the swaps for the lead are all happen all the time. Guys running the high side, running the bottom side, trying to make things happen. We did see last week, though, at this track, that the high side seemed to have a slight advantage over the bottom side, and reason being there was less bumps up there, so it was a lot easier for these guys to stay, right behind each other and stay tucked up on that rear deck lid in order to get the best draft that they can coming down these straightaways and carry all that speed that they need. So yeah, these guys definitely going to put on a great show here tonight. Obviously, different car, different setup than what they're normally run. They get to do this 4 times every season to decide basically it's all for bragging rights, who's the best of the best. So I know all these guys are going to be bringing everything they have for us. It seems like all 12 have made it into the sim. Not all have made it on the track for practice yet. Most of these guys obviously getting prepped for this all during the week. So living it up and waiting for this one to get kicked underway. But first, we're going to send it down trackside and send it down for the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Motorsport Simulation, LSRTV, and the iSuperspeedway.com racing series. Welcome back to Daytona circa 2007. Almost like we're going back into the future here, Cisco. Reliving the old track, the old bumpiness that Daytona had brought, the characteristics that this track had brought out to everybody. We get to relive that for one more week here at iSuperspeedway. First up, though, is race number 1 of our doubleheader. It's the iROC series, and let's run them down. The starting lineup for tonight, starting on the pole tonight. They qualified, obviously, based on some other rules that I'll have to check on because this isn't right here. We have no times. But starting on the pole tonight, in the number 2 will be the driver, Ray Rittenauer. Brandon Jaburko, who's finally back off of suspension, he's going to start second on the outside.
Looks like they're going by car number, so starting third, because we don't have the 1 car here, it's going to be the 4 car of Rodney Wolford, and to his outside, it's number 5 of Josh Hanner.
I'm glad somebody figured that out, because the number 6 of Rod Mitten, he's going to start inside of row number 3, while Jason Altmans will start in the 7 numbers in 6th spot.
I believe that's Jay Riot in the 7 car. Andy starting on the inside on the row after. Greg Hooks in the 8 car. In the 9 car, it's going to be Rod Flagg.
Donnie Giratano is going to roll off 9th with Josh Ball, last season's iSuperspeedway Series champion, is going to start 10th. And Seth the Merchant in the 40, usually in the 42, in the 12, who won the first race in the iROC Series, will roll off shotgun on the field. So we're all set up. We're all ready to go, Cisco. We got 40 laps. It goes by pretty quick here, especially if we don't have any cautions. These guys want to get it done and get it done the right way here tonight. So off of turn number 2, or 4, I should say, the pace car now going to look to duck to the inside, usually right off of the track he goes, and the green flag usually gets waved, and Ray Rittenauer gets the green flag, and we're racing here, race number 2 of the iROC series.
And right now, the 3 car of Brandon Cherbenko is going to get a great run on that outside. He's looking for a push from the number 5 of Josh Hanner. He's going to get it now, so Hanner's going to push the 3 car into the turn, but actually he can't. No bumping allowed in the turns. They stated in the in the chat to all drivers beforehand, so these guys can't bump in the corners or the tri-oval. So it's all the pushing's got to be done on the front and back straightaway. As right now, Josh Hanner going to get to the back bumper of that 3 machine. Now he's going to push him as they head into turn 3.
And that's the number 7 of Jason Altman's now on the outside, trying to give it a little help. Jaburko's going to drop to the inside, though, right in front of Ray Rittenauer. That's going to be for the race lead. Top 2 now, single file. The battle for third's heating up. The 5 of Hanner now on the outside. He's got Rodney Wofford, and the 7 of Jason Altman's now to the inside. And those 4 cars, top 4 cars now are going to push themselves out to the lead and separate them. Now it's going to be a battle for that 5th spot with the number 9 of Rod Flagg now to the inside.
Well, I guess it's kind of the inverse of what we saw here in race number 1, because actually that inside line, if they could get stacked up as Rod Flagg goes below the yellow line there, I think he's going to drop to the end of the pack here. May was getting a little too hairy for him. So he's going to drop below the yellow line, give up a few spots, and maybe ride around the back for a little while. As right now the 8 of Hooks is way up the track a little bit. He's pretty close to that wall as DeMerchant behind him is going to duck right to the bottom, as now we get to ride along with Rod Flagg as he's kind of looking ahead here. It looks like he's going to try and work with DeMerchant here. Maybe those two will hang out in the back for a while.
Yeah, it looked like Rod Flagg might maybe have gotten a little loose off of turn number 2. We did see that quite a bit last week with these hot conditions at the racetrack. They tend to get a little slick, plus with the bumps, it makes the cars very unsettling when they come off of turn number 2. So Rod Flagg choosing, for now, to ride out back, but up front there, we got another battle shaping up as the high line is now starting to take some steam as they start to gather more cars. Leading the way, though, is that 4 of Rodney Wofford. He's going to bring in tow of Josh Hanner and the 11 of Josh Ball. So the 2 Joshes up top right now. We know Josh Ball can get it done here at this racetrack. We saw him have a fantastic race last week in the Cup car. So we know he knows how to get it done here on this 2007 old bumpy track here at Daytona. But top side now definitely starting to really pick up steam. Is only now 3 cars on that bottom line. That's not so typical of what we see at Daytona or Talladega. Usually that bottom line is so stacked up. But like I talked about earlier in the pre-race show, Cisco, that bottom line is real bumpy, and it's real tough to keep those cars aligned.
Yeah, I think a couple of the guys I saw, I think it was Jaburko, got a little loose going into turn 2. As right now we see the 7 of Jay Riot kind of getting up the track there. So you can just see those cars are not happy down there. So these cars are more accustomed to running on smoother tracks. So not really used to these kind of hard bumps. And when I took a couple laps here in the LSR COT, and it is really bumpy out there. It's like driving over a pizza, basically. I mean, you know, up and up and up and up and down is right now Josh Hanner going to get the run on the outside, but I don't think the camera even shows how bumpy it is. It's like 3 times bumpy for what you guys are thinking. As they right now come out of turn 4, Rodney Wofford, he's going to hold that bottom line as Josh Hanner's going to get the run on the outside. I believe they're going to give that line. They're going to give that lap to Wofford there as they head into 1. Hanner, though, he's going to get a slight advantage as they go through 1 and 2. Right now, he's got that 11 machine of J-Ball, Josh Ball behind him there, pushing him. Behind him, the 10 of Donnie Giratano. Behind him, the 7 of Jay Riot as they're making a charge on the outside. Right now, Jay Riot going to go way up the track a little bit, and that's going to allow the 4 and the 3 of Jaburko and Wofford to get past him. There's Riot's going to put the block on DeMerchant there. He's going to stay behind, maybe DeMerchant on the brakes a little bit there, as now that line's going to form back up. Wofford going to jump in the outside line, but he's going to pinch Jaburko, and Riot's going to dive the inside. He's going to get behind Giratano now, and Wofford, though, gets back going, so it's a big case of momentum changer right now. It looks like these guys are trying to find which line has momentum, but the moment someone slides up in front, it just kills the people behind it.
Yeah, that high side now, if you see everybody up to that high side, only 2 cars now to the bottom. Rod Flagg is going to try to brave it out with a little bit of help from Rod Mitten. It's not going to work, though, right now. That high side, just too many vehicles up on that high side. The draft is definitely taking effect. You can see that that high line is the place to be. We talked about it last week with the other car. Now this car here also showing that, and I do believe it's mostly because of those bumps right now. Traburco, who led just a little bit ago here, rides right now into that 6th spot on the track. The 7 of Jason Altman's now to the bottom. He's the only car all by himself trying to get some side draft. Just not going to work as they come off of turn number 2 right there. The 3 of Traburco, though, is going to get all over his back bumper. He had a huge run, trying to give him a push. He's going to let him up in front of him now. So now the field continues to be single file on the top until the 4 of Wofford now dives to the bottom off turn 4.
I do want to report really quick, Greg Hooks he's lost the pack a little bit in that 8 machine. He had some contact with the outside wall, so he's going to be hoping for a caution here so we can come down pit road and get that damage fixed. So he's back in P11 right now. He's about 6 seconds off the pace. Meanwhile, big shot to the 11 by the 7 of Riot. That was a huge shot, but they managed to keep it straight there as Ball and Hanner continue to lead the pack here as they come on a turn 2. Right now the 7, that's Jay Wright. He's going to dive the inside with Seth DeMerchant. DeMerchant coming all the way back from the back of the pack. He's going to come through, and he and Jay both want that lead. Now Wright's going to slide up in front of that outside line and leave DeMerchant out to dry. It's kind of weird saying that, considering DeMerchant's on the inside, but that's basically what he did. He left him out to dry.
Yeah, that's what's happening here at this track on that high side right there. I want to note, too, that the 5 and the 11, Josh Hanner, Josh Ball, all are teammates. They all drive the Hendrick Motorsports cars here in the iSuper Speedway Series, so it's not unlikely to see these guys working together like they are here in the early going right now. The 12, though, of Seth DeMerchant slowly slipping back. He's got the 4 now of Rodney Wofford to the bottom side there, trying to give him a little help. They make some ground up coming into the corner, though, Cisco. Obviously the shortest way around the track. As soon as you get that momentum off that high side, you come down these straightaways, that high side really takes into effect. And right now, that 7 machine of Jason Altman's, he's going to lead that lap, but only by 5/1000ths of a second. So great racing right here so far. We're 11 laps into this 40-lap feature for the iROC Series. These guys are doing a great job as we're approaching that halfway point.
Yeah, right now, this pack we're seeing right now, it's comprised of 9 cars. Ray Rednauer tagged the wall a little bit in the 2 machine, our pole sitter. So he's about 3 seconds off the pace right now, so he's also looking for a caution. But this whole pack right now is only half a second between the first and the last car of this pack. So that's a huge gap, as right now DeMerchant gets a huge run on that bottom side. Looks like he's able to make that work, as he's going to slide up and grab that first spot now. So put a 12 car to P1, but now the 7 of Riot, he's going to dive the inside. He wants to get the lead there, not going to do it at the line, but he's trying to go for that lead. Meanwhile, Hanner going to push DeMerchant, trying to push DeMerchant by Riot. Nobody's going with that 7 car. It looks like the next car back there is the 4 of Rodney Wofford. So Wofford looking to hook up with Riot there and maybe try and get a push on that bottom line.
Going to take him almost a lap to get to his back bumper. In the meantime, the high side is going to have the advantage. The 5 of Josh Hanner's now all over the back deck lid of Seth DeMerchant. Gave him a good shot there going into turn number 3. It's going to give him some momentum right now. Josh Ball now, he's starting to slack off just a little bit on that high side. That's going to leave room for the 7. Traburco now to the bottom on the back bumper of the 4 as they go through the travel. Jason Altman drops to the bottom. 3 guys on the bottom line now trying to make it work. Now the 4 of Wofford goes back to the high side. Almost gets pinched off by Jason Altman's. That's not going to work right here at this track. You're going to see some accidents if these guys don't take it easy on that pinching up on the top, especially with the bumps here. As the 11 of Josh Ball just sits into the wall off of turn number 2. They're 3 wide trying to get around him right now. That's the 6 machine of Rod Mitten in the middle. He's going to back off, fall back in line of Rod Mitten. So the 11 of Josh Ball having some issues off turn number 2 there. Gets into the wall. He's got some damage. It looks like he's going to lose some speed too.
Yeah, it's going to be close there as he nearly makes contact with the 10 of Giratano, but he's able to hold on to it. But that damage probably isn't going to help the number 11 machine of Josh Ball. Meanwhile, back up to the front right now, it's a huge battle. Basically 5 cars nose to tail, the only one on the bottom. Wofford, he's going to make a charge to the lead now, as it looks like the 7 of Jay Riot's going to want to jump down there and help him. But right now, Traburco's going to go with Riot. They're going to go with Wofford. They're going to try and make a charge on the down. Riot's going to go 3 wide on the 4 car. Jaburko's going to go with them. They're going crazy here, and we're not even the last 10 laps yet.
And we're not even to that halfway point right now. And these guys are racing it like it's the last lap. And that's probably the best part of this iRacingSuperspeedway.com series, Cisco, is that week in and week out, it doesn't matter what lap it is. These guys are going, they're trying to lead every single lap they possibly can. They want to be in the lead. They make it exciting lap after lap after lap. You can watch, I've done tons and tons of races on broadcasting for these plate tracks, and we've seen it so many times where guys will just get in the line and just ride and try to make it. Oh, it's a 6 car, gets into the wall. He gets a little squirrely there off of turn number 2. Everybody's going to get around him. Looks like Jaburko might have maybe have touched the wall also off of turn number 2. If not, he just got sideways just a bit as his tires start to wear on these guys. Working lap number 15. But I was going to say, Cisco, we've seen so many times that in series that these guys just run in a line and just try to log laps, and they wait till that last 10 laps to really push the issue. These guys here in this series always going for the win, always going for it on every lap, and that's what makes these races so exciting.
Yeah, right now it looked like Josh Hanner maybe wanted to grab that lead, but nobody went with him. As right now Wolford looks like maybe he wants to try and get that spot off to Merchant right now, as Wolford and Riot there are up running second and third. Right now the sitting duck. You know, these COTs were famous for having that lead car being the sitting duck coming through 3 and 4 on the final lap. Since these guys are going for it each lap, I'm pretty sure Seth's kind of sitting up there sweating bullets right now, because these guys are getting such huge run. Now Riot to the inside of Wolford. He's going to try and get that spot. Now Wolford maybe with a little bit of a block there. Is he going to pull down in front of Riot? I'm not sure if he just wants to follow to Merchant, but right now a bit of a hornet's nest back there, starting P5 and back with Jaburko, Flag, Ball, who's actually been able to keep up with the pace even with that damage, and the 10 machine of Giratano. Meanwhile, it looks like the 6 car Ron Min, he's up in the wall a little bit. I think he's going to start to lose the pace, so that's another car who could potentially be looking for a caution here.
Absolutely. We talk about damage at these plate tracks, Cisco, and watching the 11 just get right into the back bumper of Rod Flag there, getting into turn number 3. We talk about damage at these tracks, and typically if you get a little bit of damage, sometimes you can just sneak up as we got a battle for the lead here. Here comes a 4 now. Wofford to the bottom. He's got help from Altman. That's going to get him out to the front now. Then that's going to push the Merchant back to that 3rd spot. Everybody back to the high side. Now here comes Jaburko with a good run. He goes to the bottom. I don't think he's going to get much done. He's got no help right now. He's going to have to come back up in line. It's now the 7 of Altman's is now looking to the inside of Wofford, and that's going to be another battle for the lead down the back straightaway.
He was looking to try and Dale Earnhardt it off at 2, wasn't able to make it happen because DeMerchant was right there to push the 4 of Wolford past him. But right now the 7 of Jay Riot, he's going to try and hold that inside line and try and hang on there. Now he's going to get help from the 5 of Hanner. Hanner's going to push Riot, pushing down the front straightaway. I don't think it's going to be enough for this lap, but they're making a hard charge on that bottom line. Wolford maybe a little bit of block, but here comes Riot now on that inside with help from Hanner. We got 4 cars looking for the lead right now. It's a great battle right now as they head into turn 2.
And while these guys battle side by side like that, 2 rows deep for the lead, the 9 car, Rod Flag, now starting to get back in the picture. He's single file with Jaburko just behind these guys, and they're really starting to make a good run here, as now we're going to have about 7 cars looking for the lead here in just about a lap or so. Wofford able to hold off the hard charge on the bottom side from the 7 and the 5 car. He's going to be able to hang on to that lead right now as he's got help from Seth the Merchant. The Merchant deciding currently at this moment, he's happy riding right behind him right now, keeping that high side going as they work their way around this track. One more next time by, then we'll get the halfway signal. The cross flags will be in the air. So we're about halfway done with this thing, Cisco, and not a caution yet. These guys have definitely, they got control of these cars. Obviously, they're moving around all over the place. The high side's a place to be. A lot of guys getting loose off turn 2. We've seen that so far. As these tires keep on wearing lap after lap after lap, it's only going to get worse.
This is going to get interesting. The 7 of Ryan tried to go down to the inside. No one went with him. And just as he did that, the 9 of Flag and the 3 of Jaburko have joined the conversation. Will they go to the bottom? Will they try and make their own line? This should be interesting here. As the 9 and 3 car have jumped into the picture. Who are they going to go with right now holding that outside line? Looks like Jaburko wants to go with Riot right now. But Right now he's going to stick up sides. Riot continues to lose spots here on that inside line. It's still weird for me seeing that. Now Riot's going to be able to jump up to that outside line. Right now the 3 tags the wall a little bit. That's going to knock him out of that pack just a little bit. Flag, though, down the inside line. I think he wants to pick up Jaburko. It looks like DeMerchant got a huge shot from Josh Hanner there. It looks like they're trying to make a run at the lead here. Meanwhile, these guys are starting to put a little bit of a gap as it looks like Flag. It looks like the 7 of Riot now has some of that right front damage. He's got a big chunk out of that car. So it looks like those guys are going to try and compose themselves and maybe make another run at that lead pack 3.
Yeah, they're going to start now get back in line here, led by the 7 car. Chaburko right behind him, giving him a push. Rod Flag lost his momentum. Hopefully he doesn't lose the draft like we've already seen a few guys do here early on. Greg Hooks, Ray Rittenauer obviously off the pace. Only reason being they've lost the draft here. So the top 5 now, as they start to pull away from Rod Flag, they're starting to make their move to try to solidify the fact the less cars they have up front at the end is the better off they are and the better chance they have to win, and they all know that as they run single file right now through 3 and number 4. On the top side, though, we've talked about all night long, that bottom side almost being too bumpy for these cars. They're able to use that high side to their advantage as we got a great battle here for the 7 and the 3 now starting to push their way back up to that top 3. It's a 5-car battle here as we enter turn number 1. Take a look back here. Josh Ball obviously off the pace a little bit too. He's sitting 8th right now. We'll give you the LSRTV iRacing.com mid-race report right now as we've just crossed the halfway point. Right now your leaders, the number 4 of Rodney Wofford, set the Merchant. 2nd, Josh Hanner is running 3rd. 4th is Jason Altmans. Brandon Chaburko rounds out the top 5. Rod Flag sits 6th right now. Donnie Giarratano is 7th, 8th place right now to Josh Ball. Rod Mitten runs 9th. 10th is Ray Rittenauer. And Greg Hooks is the last car running 11th right now. The 5 car, Hanner, now moving to the inside. He's trying to take the lead the hard way, it seems, as they head back to turn 1.
Sorry about that, Andy. Some popcorn went down the wrong pipe there, so I need a second there. But right now, Hanner going to dive that inside. He wants the lead. Right now, it looks like another battle. Chaburko wants to go. Hanner squeezes up into 2nd spot. That was close right there. I don't think he could have cut that any closer. But meanwhile, Chaburko's kind of leading that inside line. They say leading. He's the only guy down there. Right now, the 7, it looks like a Riot wants to get down there, or he's going to try and pinch the 3 down there. As Riot now going to try and make a run at those top 3.
Get some interesting words from the number 3 radio right there. Quite the character Brandon Chaburko is on the radio during the races. If only everybody could hear that, they'd probably get a chuckle out of it. Right now, off of turn number 2 there, the top 3, they've switched a couple positions here, but Rodney Wofford's really been leading this thing for the last 10 laps or so. Once he took that lead away from Seth DeMerchant just kind of biding his time, I think, right now. He's such an experienced racer in iRacing that I think obviously he knows he's not going to win it on lap number 25. It's lap number 40 where he gets the job done. We're going to take a quick break right now. We're going to step aside, pay some bills. When we come back, we'll bring it to the conclusion of the iROC series, race number 2 of the season. You're watching it right here on LSRTV.
Domino's TYJ Racing League is proud to announce we are now taking driver applications for our $2,500 purse inaugural season going green January 2016. At Domino's TYJ Racing League, you get paid cash, not gift cards or die casts. Cold, hard cash. You get paid for finishing 1st through 20th in our championship and 1st through 3rd, plus a lucky dog bonus in all of our 20 races, plus other cash bonuses. You're going to like the way you look, all the way to the bank. I guarantee it. Purse amount approximate, paid cash or iRacing bucks. Drivers carry less than $20. Report unsafe driving to local authorities. Apply today at Domino'sTYJRacing.com to see if you qualify for our league.
While lions are notorious for their voracious appetites. They spend a great deal of time feeding other creatures. In fact, lions will take great care to ensure there's plenty to go around. As you can see, they keep giving with utter ferocity. Bravo, lions, and bon appetit. Do good, be a lion.
Welcome back, everybody, to LSRTV's coverage of the iROC for the iROC series for the iSuperspeedway.com series here on iRacing. I'd like to welcome everybody that's watching us on the iRacing live page also here tonight. A great battle for the lead as the 7 of Altman's now gets in the wall off of turn number 4 right there. But a great battle for the lead. The 5 car of Josh Hanner was trying to take that lead away from Wofford as we close in on the final 10 laps right now, 11 laps. It'll be 10 next time by here. So he was trying to take that lead away from him on the bottom side. Seth the Merchant, though, was able to get to that back bumper of the 4, able to get him back up to the front. So the top 3 still starting to pull away, still pulling away right now from the second pack of 3 right now as Jaburko gets into the wall off of turn 2. So the handling definitely falling away from these cars here in the late going, Cisco.
Yeah, definitely, Andy. I mean, this is a really tough track, like we talked about in the pre-race show. The bumpy, it just gets really bumpy here, and that'll start to put a bit of a strain on these tires. Right now, our 3 leaders seem to be doing okay so far. That's Rodney Wolford right now, leading that pack of 3. Right behind him, Seth DeMerchant in the 12 car, and behind him, that's Josh Hanner of Hannerick. He's running 3rd here, as we take 10 to go here as we come out of turn 2.
Right, 10 laps, 9.5 to go now as the leaders make their way down the back straightaway here. 3 cars that have looked really solid all night have been the top 3 guys. Neither one of those 3 have actually gotten in the wall. I believe everybody else on the track behind them has. So obviously the top 3 doing something right here tonight. The speed's still in the cars. They've really pulled a gap now, second over the fourth place car right now, which sits Jason Altman's there in the 7. So the leader definitely doing everything he can right now with 8 laps to go here in this one.
Yeah, right now that pack, they need to try and get themselves single file right now. Now Riot's going to push Jaburko here, and they're going to kick Flag out to the outside, so this will be interesting. Maybe they're just gunning for that 4th spot, who knows? But I don't think any of these guys are teammates, so I think they're just kind of going for it right now because they know they're running out of time to try and keep that lead pack, so they might be just having a little bit of fun amongst themselves. Meanwhile, though, it looks like Hanner is kind of laying back a little bit. He might be looking to get a little bit of a run on our 2 leaders at DeMerchant and Wolford. So it'll be interesting to watch Josh Hanner and maybe see what's if the gears are turning in the mind of the driver in the number 5 car.
They haven't been able to get by that leader of Rodney Wofford here over the last, I don't know, about 15 laps or so. Once he took that lead away from Seth the Merchant, a bunch of cars have tried, and a bunch of times they have failed here tonight. Top 3, though, nose to tail, working their way through 3 and 4. This time by 7 laps remaining here at Daytona. Only 7 more circuits around this big old track to get the job done.
Yeah, 2.5 miles each one of these laps, and it looks like Hanner probably has the ability to get up to the Merchant's bumper. He was gaining a little bit there, but he might be just backing off, making sure he doesn't get a huge run here and maybe kick himself to the inside or mess up the run here. Is now DeMerchant maybe going to look a little bit to the inside of Wolford? Not this time, but I think DeMerchant's starting to look maybe thinking about making a move here in the next 2 or 3 laps. Meanwhile, our battle for fourth is still heating up as there goes Chaburko, the inside of Riot. Ryan gonna hang up on that outside. Meanwhile, Flag gonna follow Chaburko through. It looks like these guys are just playing a big old game of musical chairs right now for that 4th spot.
Yeah, they are. It's a battle of the cars with damage to the right side as Altman's now 7. Yeah, he gets in the wall real heavy there off of turn number 4. You can see the damage, the crinkled sheet metal on that front quarter panel there for that 7 machine. So obviously not a lot of speed left in these 3 cars. All 3 of them have been off the wall at least one time. We've seen a couple times for that 3 and definitely a couple times for the 7 machine. So all the speed, all the aerodynamics is basically gone from these cars. They're unable to maintain that front road or that speed. They're now 3 seconds off of our lead pack here. The lead pack, of course, the 4, the 12, and the 5. That's Rodney Wofford, Seth the Merchant, and Josh Hanner, who still continue to be the top 3, continue to be the class of the field here at Daytona. This time, though, 5 laps to go here at circa 2007.
I don't really know, Andy, what's going through the mind of that 5 car right now. You know, is he just waiting for the Merchant to make the move here so he can get the jump on that? I don't know.
Well, we've seen in the last couple laps, he's able to back off like this and able to, get that draft and get right back up onto him. So could he be saving some heat in the tires? Maybe. Could he be just trying to, pick a spot at where he's going to make that run? I imagine being that far back, if he times it correctly, he probably gets a huge run on these guys. So he might be trying to maybe set something up, try a couple different things, but he's running out of time here as we're coming to 4 to go.
DeMerchant took a look to the inside there. Wolford, though, going to put the block on him. So DeMerchant, nothing going to happen there for the 12 car this time, but DeMerchant's starting to get a little desperate as we take 4 to go here at the line. He's starting to look, maybe starting to think about that opportunity, but the question is, Andy, when do you make that pass? Do you want to wait until the back straightaway, or do you want to go sooner? As there goes, no, Wolford's going to block him there. DeMerchant looked like he wanted to make it there, but Wolford was able to get in front of him.
Yeah, it was. Wofford doing everything he can. You're almost, like you talked about earlier on, the sitting duck when you're the guy in the lead at a plate track like this, because all those guys are doing is waiting for their chance to jump out. Now the question is, do you try to block them? Will you have the opportunity to maybe block them all the way down to that yellow line? As we see the 5 car slip up just a little bit there off of turn number 4. He's still looks like he's still able to maybe keep that draft as he's actually starting to close in, it looks like, again, on these front 2 guys. So 3 laps to go here. Not lots of time, but there's plenty of time. This 2.5 mile track, so still plenty of time for that 5 of Josh Hanner to make up that half-second difference. The question, though, like we've all been talking about all night long, when and where do you make that move? Do you do it off of turn number 2 down the back straightaway, or do you try to get it done off of turn number 4? Off turn number 4, though, that start-finish line comes really, really fast.
Yeah, we're definitely not at Talladega, so you don't get that extra, 800 feet or whatever that you get at Talladega. So DeMerchant's going to have to get a little bit going here, and he's not going to have any help unless Hanner can get back up there. But I don't think Josh Hanner's going to help Seth DeMerchant win this race. I think Josh Hanner's going to help Josh Hanner win this race.
Yeah, when you talk about only a 4-race season right now, this is race number 2. Winner of the first round of the iROC Series was that 12 of Seth DeMerchant. So obviously, you don't want to push a guy to the lead. You want to actually win this thing. The points battle, obviously, only one point per position. So every single point matters. You don't want to just ride in second. You want to get the win. You want to get maximum points. There is no points for leading laps, but there is that maximum points. If you win the race, you got more points than everybody. That's exactly what Rodney Wofford's trying to do right now. Off of turn number 4, though, they're going to come down and get the white flag. Last lap, final lap here in the iROC iSuperspeedway Series. Race number 2, and going into turn 1 now for the final time. It's a 2-car battle, it looks like, for the win.
I don't think Hanner's going to have enough time. It's going to be up to DeMerchant. When does he make the move? He starts to look low. This I think is where he's going to try and do it. No, he's going to back off. I think we're going to see it in 4, coming out of 4. So DeMerchant going to set up Wofford. He's going to try and get a biggest run as we can. And right now, as we head into turn 3 and 4, Andy, it's going to be one of those fantastic Daytona finishes.
It should be. Hopefully it sets up to see him side by side at the start-finish line. Off turn number 4, though. Wofford, he's got a 2-car length lead. It doesn't look like the 12 Ascent DeMerchant has a chance. Rodney Wofford is going to win here at Daytona and take race number 2 of the iROC series.
That's a big win right there for Wofford. Last race, I should say, he finished 10th. So that's going to put him right back in this hunt. He still has to make up a couple more points as DeMerchant only finished 2nd. So he's still going to have plenty of points. But that's a big win for Wofford right there. And I think we're going to talk to him right after this commercial break.
That's right. We're going to step aside here, let the guys get back to pit road, and we'll talk to our top 3 finishers here tonight, including our race winner, Rodney Wofford. We'll be back right after this.
the outside, contact made, 56 slides it into 4, who's going to be at the stripe, dead even, give it to Ryan Truex. Truex is your winner over Tandy.
Monza is a very historic track. It's been around since the 20s, and it's gone through several permutations since then. We're also bringing forward a number of configurations. So there's chicanes that they've installed since the track's early days. So they can use original, very high-speed configurations of the track where the cars would just blow.
Well, welcome back, everybody, here to Daytona International Speedway, circa 2007. We just had a great, fantastic race, green flag to checkered flag, no cautions, and Rodney Wofford came home with the win. But first, Cisco is down on pit road. He's got our second and third place finishers.
Yeah, right now I'm down here on pit road with the driver of the number 5 machine. That's Josh Hanner. And I've caught up with Josh down here. And Josh, we saw you were trying to lay off a little bit there. Were you just losing the handling, or what was going on?
Oh, at the end, I couldn't keep up because they were working together, and I couldn't hang on to the draft. You know, car by yourself and nobody behind you, just nothing to keep you up there. So I just kind of rode and hoped for the best.
Well, you come home third. That's going to be a good points day for this 4-race championship. And going forward, we saw you lose your teammate there earlier. Coming into the next race, are you two going to be like working together for this whole thing?
If we find each other on the track, definitely. It just all kind of depends on where we're running and all, It's tough to plan these things out because they rarely go the way you think they're going to go. So we're just going to get out there and ride. And if I happen to get around him, I'll certainly help him.
That sounds good. Well, Josh, you finished third here, so who you want to thank for that spot?
Thank Rod for putting on the series, of course, and you guys for doing the broadcast. And just give a quick shout out to Mark Jorgensen. I know he's missing the race today because he's at the real life race. So give a shout out to him and Ryan Keese, and we'll see y'all in the next one.
All right, well, that's Josh Hanner. He finished third tonight, and right next to him here on pit road, I've caught up with Seth the Merchant. Seth, we saw you trying to set up Wolford there, coming through 3 and 4. Do you think, if this had been Talladega, 800 feet, maybe you had gotten him?
Definitely at Talladega, because the setup we were running tonight was really tight, and I was trying to set him up off 2 so I could get him going to 3 and maybe do like a slide job. But I just messed up the entry of 1, and I had to lift, or else I would have hit the wall. So I had nothing I could do. Just my run died. But good one to Rodney.
Well, you've definitely shown your strength here as you've won the last race we had here in the iROC series, and you come home second here. That's got to be a huge confidence booster going into race 3.
Oh, definitely. I love this car and the way this draft works. It's kind of like a mix of the truck and the Gen 6. They have a little bubble, but it's not too big, and it's kind of like the one when I won last season, a few races. So see if we can get the championship. I think we got 2 races to go, and I should have about a 3-point lead over Rodney. So see if I can get the championship.
All right, Seth. Well, you finished a great, impressive second place right here. Who do you want to shout out for that?
I just want to thank Rodney for working with me. We hooked up about halfway there. And I got to thank P-Money Designs, and I got to thank you guys for broadcasting, and Rod for putting on the league.
All right, well, that's Seth DeMerchant, our current point leader as we leave Daytona Circa 07. But before we do that, I believe Andy has caught up with our big winner down in Gatorade Victory Lane.
That's right. I am down here in Victory Lane with our race winner, Rodney Wofford. Rodney, you had a pretty dominant showing here at this track. Obviously, the high side was the place to be. It was almost like riding around at a 1.5 mile track. As long as you can maintain your line, it was making it real hard for guys to pass you on the bottom side.
Yeah, it definitely was. We had to definitely drive that. It got really tight in that long run there, and saved as much tire as I could, and kept it up on the high side there, and got lucky and kept P1 there throughout the entire last lap.
Yeah, it looked like he was trying to set you up coming off or through turns 1 and 2. He actually said that he had to actually lift going into turn number 1, or he was going to hit the wall, and that just killed his momentum. He had nothing for you at the end. That's got to be a little bit of a sigh of relief when you know that for the last 10 laps or so, he's sitting there thinking. With that said, obviously it's a different car coming up in the main feature here tonight, 125 laps at this track with the Gen 6 car. A little bit different a car, but how much do you think this experience running this race, knowing that high line was probably the place to be, is going to help you here coming up later on?
It will transfer a little bit. We ran last week, and I actually came out on top on that one, got that win. We'll see how it plays. This car has a little bit more suck up with it, but we also had a lot more push with it. The Gen 6, I think, will be able to go the distance, not as tight. And, just play our cards right and land P1 on that if we can.
That would be pretty nice to sweep all 3 races here at this track over the last couple of weeks. So with that said, any sponsors or shout outs you want to give here tonight for this win?
Yeah, I got to thank Rod first off. Thank you guys on the broadcast. And I want to give a shout out to my parents, my father. He's an awesome dude.
Well, there you have it. I'm sure he enjoyed that right there. Rodney Wofford, your big winner here tonight in the first of 2 races here on the Friday night doubleheader for LSRTV. Cisco, he pretty much, once you got up there, it was almost like some of these other tracks I was talking about, the 1.5 miles, the short tracks, even like a Martinsville. The only way to really pass a decent car that's on the bottom is to really move them out of the way. And this track almost raced like that, even though it's 2.5 miles long.
Yeah, and if you thought that race was exciting, well, just wait until 10 p.m. Eastern, because it's going to be these guys plus, about 20 of their friends coming back here to Daytona 07. So make sure to join us here on LSRTV and iRacing Live for that. But before we head off, we're going to take you through a quick final results rundown. Rodney Wolford, he's going to take the win here. Seth the Merchant's going to come home second. Josh Hanner going to come home third. Brandon Chaburko going to come home fourth. And Rod Flagg going to come home fifth.
Finishing sixth tonight in that 7 car was Jason Altman. 7th was Rod Mitten. 8th was Josh Ball. Donnie Giarratano finishes 9th. Ray Rittenau rounds out the top 10. And Greg Hooks had trouble early on. He ends up 1 lap down in 11th. Well, with that said, we've finished round 1 of tonight's doubleheader here on LSRTV. Make sure, like Cisco just said, tune in with us here live at 10 p.m. Eastern, again on iRacing Live. And you will see 125 laps with about 35 of the best super speedway racers on iRacing right here. Don't miss out on that. So for now, I'm Andy Kessler, Cisco Scaramuza, and Laura Lawson in the production booth. This was the iROC series for iSuperspeedwaySeries.com. We'll see you in about 45 minutes for the main event, 125 laps at Daytona. We'll see you then.